All right, a lot of stuff to get to. If you're just tuning in for the very first time and you're not sure who you're listening to or what you're listening to, it's the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show, hosted by, of course, Blake Sloan. Blake Sloan has been called the Real Estate Whiz Kid. He's been featured in Forbes magazine, Wall Street Journal, Realtor magazine, other national publications. You may be seeing him on TV with NBC and also with Fox and Friends with Morning Show. You've heard the personal endorsements here by Glenn Beck, by Sean Hannity, also Barbara Corcoran, Gary LaVox. Put them all together, it's just totally unprecedented. Now, that's one thing. But the other thing is that Blake has trademark systems for both home sellers and home buyers. They are trademarked, so we can't give you all the details, but more than happy every week to tell you the most important part of that system.
Yes, and that's really the main reason why I do this show is just kind of really it's the whole DNA behind what we do, because I see this mistake happen over and over and over. I've seen it here both, from having the show, people who listen to the show, people who don't listen to the show, the same mistake over and over and over. They make the mistake of thinking that all real estate agents are the same, and it could not be any further from the truth. And so it's just like any doctor, any lawyer, right? I've said this before a million times, but for some reason it does not get through, and it doesn't matter how many homes they've sold or how affluent they are. They still make the mistake, right? They go with just a friend or a random agent or someone that they just told them to use so-and-so. They don't know anything about them, their background, their career, how successful they are, anything, right? And it's just like I said, a doctor or lawyer, if I'm charged with a crime I did not commit, the last thing I want is some part-time attorney who my friend recommended who's tried one or two cases, right? I want the absolute best, most aggressive, most in-tune attorney who specializes in that type of law to help navigate me through that situation. And you should demand that same level of excellence when you're dealing with your largest asset for most people, which is real estate. And so here's the deal. The single most important variable that determines your failure or success as a home seller, also a home buyer, comes down to one thing and one thing only. That thing is the agent that you choose, period. It comes down to how they actually execute. A lot of people don't realize it is there's all these variables from A to Z. If each one's handled correctly, what it does, it puts money in your pocket. Properties get sold. If you're, obviously, you're a home seller. If you're a home buyer, you save money and you actually buy the property. But what happens is the entire process and what you get it for, what you sell it for, is, I guess you say, made or broken based on how they handle those variables. And so what most agents do is they're super busy. The average agent in our marketplace sells about 4 homes a year. And so they'll do anything and everything and tell you anything and everything to try to get your business, try to help you out, and then be able to sell that property for you. And then what happens is many agents mismanage those variables. And they do that because there's not a system or a process in place to do so. Most agents, when you're selling a house, right, they tell you they're number one, which usually is their number one in their little office or whatever it may be. It's just ironic, though, every agent claims they're number one. And then what happens is they do the 3 Ps. Number one, they promise the world to get the listing, tell you anything and everything you want to hear. Number two, they put it into MLS. And then 3, they pray that someone else brings a buyer. Meanwhile, they're down the street trying to get the next listing simply because they're just trying to survive. I know that because I've seen it my entire life. I've grown up in the business. Mom, dad, aunt, uncle, grandpa, grandma, everyone in my family sold real estate, third generation. I've seen this just growing up in offices, seeing it, and obviously being in business for almost 20 years now. I see it over and over and over again. It's just really how the industry worked. And so what I thought and what I set out to do, I said, look, there's got to be a better way. There's got to be a way where you can control the variables and make sure I can get the same result every single time for my client. And I looked at what people did outside of real estate. And so through that, we said, look, what variables are there from A to Z? And we identified there's 118 of those. And then we said, hey, look, how can we go back and reverse engineer each one to create a system and a process through 2 things. Number one is people, a.k.a. a team, and number 2 is technology, and manage those variables proactively to make sure we can really give our client a huge competitive advantage. And so we do that by stacking the dominoes. We create leverage at point 2, leverage at point 3, and we do that all the way to the end and making sure that we're on top of those. And at the end, what it does is it creates a gap between us and everyone else, just like a marathon. Everyone takes off at a marathon. You have a shotgun start. Looks really cool and everybody's running, right? But what you realize over time, people spread themselves out by lots and lots and lots of distance. It's the same exact thing we do with the marathon or the home sale, and that allows us to sprint through that and get you maximum money, obviously, and get the property sold for the fastest and obviously the most amount of money at the same time. And so what I did is we designed this system called the Guaranteed Sold System. The only proven system sells twice as fast and for up to 20% more money than traditional methods, and it works very, very, very well. I designed it We license out to other agents across the country, have federal trademarks and part of that. And so that's something that really, really works very, very well for our sellers. And we talk about that on the show because people need someone or something that has a system and a process that can help them get maximum leverage in selling their property. On the flip side, guess what? It's a very, very difficult market right now for home buyers because there's just not a whole lot of inventory out there. And most agents that you talk to are just winging it. They're hoping to get a sale, hoping some property pops up. And there's no system or process to give you, the buyer, a competitive advantage in the process. And so we designed the same exact type system there called the Unfair Advantage Home Buying System. Get your property access to absolute best deals, foreclosures, distress sales, desperate sellers, the absolute best negotiation in their purchase price, as well as the home inspection to get you to that closing table successfully. But both of those are designed to give you, the client, a huge competitive advantage. If you want to know more how that works, reach out, call us, 843-808-SOLD. But the key factor is that you deserve to have excellence when you're buying or selling, for most people, one of your largest assets. So take a quick break. Be right back in a second with the brand new market numbers out.
Hey, Sean Hannity here with my trusted friend in the real estate market, Blake Sloan of Sloan Realty Group. So what do home sellers, what do they need to know about the market right now?
Home sellers need to know the market here on the Grand Strand, absolutely on fire. We're seeing record numbers in terms of prices that sellers are getting. It's almost unbelievable. We're seeing hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars coming in from the Northeast that are just bidding up properties and getting sellers more money than they ever thought possible.
Got it. Now, how will that get them more money?
That's going to help get home sellers more money because there's more buyers here than we've ever seen before. But we're not sure how long that's going to last. We are seeing that start to level off a little bit, and some of that interest has started to slow down. So sellers definitely need to take advantage of the super hot market right now before there's any type of shift.
All right, as always, thanks for the insight. Call Blake Sloan today at 808-SOLD. That's 808-SOLD. Or online at blakesloan.com. That's blakesloan.com.
Hi, I'm Barbara Corcoran. I'm excited to connect with Blake Sloan, the only real estate agent in Myrtle Beach that I recommend. You offer several options to home sales, which really takes away the stress.
That's right. For sellers in a time crunch, we can agree to sell it by a certain date, pay cash for your home, or even rent it.
That's great. And if the seller has a bit more time?
We use our proven marketing plan to sell it for the highest price.
Work with my friend Blake Sloan and get your home sold on your terms.
Welcome back to Blake Sloan Real Estate Show. Got the brand new market numbers in, and they're very, very, very interesting, to say the least. We've seen another huge decline in terms of actual closed properties. Don't get too worried yet. Prices are still up, but we do think you're probably going to see prices soften a little bit. At least we'll probably see the increase in prices soften off for sure. Just because this whole thing is supply and demand, right? And the one thing to keep in mind is price is always a lagging indicator. So based on supply and demand, right? Demand goes down, supply goes up. There's just no really other option than to see price decline a little bit in terms of that. And so that's really what we're going to see. I think we'll be protected, insulated a little bit for the most part, at least on the real estate side, just because there's just going to continue to be a little bit low inventory, especially when you're coming off years and years of very, very low interest rates. A lot of home sellers may stay in place, and that's something we'll continue to watch. And so really quick, we'll just dig into the overall. There's two types of numbers, too. So there's the numbers that are closed sales, which we'll talk about. That's what we're going to go over today. But one thing we watch, and I've talked about this in previous shows, we watch pending deals. And if you remember last week's show, I mentioned that we've seen a huge decline in buyer traffic. We saw buyer traffic online across the board down about 25% month over month, and just really through people I've talked to as well. We spend massive amounts of money online, and you can just see a lot of buyer traffic has really declined since seeing rates climb up significantly. And so here's one thing I track, and this is probably one of the most interesting numbers that I've seen, and we'll talk about this, is every week and every day in our huddle, and we've done this since COVID-19 started, since the lockdown started, really started on this show, and I started saying, look, how many properties do you go under contract every 7 days for each 7-day period? We track that. It peaked out about 850 homes per week, almost close to $300 million in property. It's hovered around 600 to 700 in the past really month, 2 months, 3 months, and bump up above 700, back down below, there a little bit, and it'd be in the high 600s to low 700s all the time. This week, though, a new kind of low we've seen. It's been a very, very long time. In the last 7 days, as of this morning in our huddle for our team, 522 properties under contract for $200,711,721. So if you look at just last week's show alone, 660 properties under contract for $240 million, which is a big, big difference there, right? From 660 to 522 for that previous 7-day period. So you're seeing about a 25% decline overall. The one thing that's also interesting you're seeing is overall inventory. So this week, as of this morning, there was 531 active homes for sale in Horry County that were single families. That's just the best way to track it for us. It's really the most accurate data. A lot of the new construction properties aren't even really listed. So 531 active single families as of this morning. And guess what? Last week's show was 478. So what you're seeing is pending deals go down, inventory going up, and it really is right in line with what we saw last month in buyer traffic going down. And so it's just kind of just watching the data. That's what we do all the time. Really, really big on being a nerd for data to help our clients make better decisions. And one thing we're watching is a lot of high. We're still seeing a lot of big money come down, which is awesome. So I track every day and every week, obviously. In the last 7 days, 21 properties over $1 million under contract, which is awesome. I see some really, really good ones, $3 and $4 million even go under contract, and 95 properties over $500,000 go under contract. And if you compare it to last week's show, so again, 21 over $1 million. Last week's show, 17 over $1 million. So you saw that bump up a little bit, which is good. We are, like I said, seeing prices still climb up. And this week, 95 properties over $500,000. Last week, 106 properties over $500,000. So what you saw was the high end went up, the mid-high end went down. And so it's just something to keep watching overall. And we'll kind of see what happens. But that's also what we're seeing in closed sales. So I think we'll probably see this month have a decline as well. But it's something to keep watching overall. Into what we call the rear view mirror numbers. Those are numbers that closed last month. And the one thing I remember, when the property goes under contract, aka pending, it takes 30 to 60 days before it usually closes. So that's what these numbers are. They're from our entire MLS, really the whole Grand Strand, so to speak, southern North Carolina, the coast area, inland, Loris, Longs, up to Marion, all the way down past Georgetown. All of these areas are included in numbers here. If you look at closed sales last month, they were down 23.1%, which is very, very interesting. So if you look at May of last year, there were 698 home sales. This year, 537. So you are seeing that decline. And again, one thing we'll talk about, too, is that inventory is still low. It's a little bit lower. So that's something that does hinder that a little bit. But you can definitely, when you watch the graph, it kind of peaked out here in March at 700. It dropped down in April to 650. And then, obviously, May's numbers, 537 homes closed, so you can see a significant decline month versus month. I like to watch the trends of month versus month because you can see what's happening. Even though we are a seasonal market, you can kind of compare the two. Now, the good news is, right, sales price still climbing up. Again, remember, that's that lagging indicator based on previous months, huge increases as well. So right, as of last month, the single-family median price was up 31.6% from the same month last year. So huge, huge jump there. Right now it's at $380,000 even. So if you go back to last May, it was $288,800. Right now it's $380,000. So almost a $100,000 increase there for overall median home value. A lot of homeowners putting a lot of extra money in their pocket based on that, which is great, great news. Now, also, average sale price. Average sale price is up 21.5%. It did dip a little bit, though, from April, and so that's why I kind of, predicted a little bit. I'm going to say I definitely predicted it in previous show, but April this year we kind of peaked out at $487,242. This month, $477,008. So $477,008. It's still up from last year, though, so that's what these numbers are really year versus year. So if you look at May of last year, $392,706. May of this year, $477,008. So a 21.5% increase, but there is a month versus month decline. We'll keep watching that and see what happens. I do think we'll probably see that soften a little bit as well. But when you look at a 30% increase, if you see a slight decline of 5%, it's not really going to be that big of a deal in the short term. But something I'm watching, if I'm a homeowner, right, if I want to cash out, have an investment property or something I've been tired of dealing with or been thinking, hey, maybe should I sell something? I've been listening to the show for a while. Now's probably that time you may want to take some action because we are seeing softening of the market a little bit. We're seeing less buyers, and you are starting to see that price switch a little bit in the graph of month versus month. So definitely take advantage of that. If you're looking to cash out, take some chips out, and I certainly would definitely want to do so overall. Month of supply. Inventory is actually up. One of the first times I've talked about that in a very, very long time. I honestly can't remember the last time I talked about inventory being up, but inventory is up 18.2% from the same time last year. And so, again, back to supply and demand, right? Inventory is up 18% overall, right? New properties under contract down 20+%. You're definitely going to see softening of price come up at least a little bit, and it may just kind of level out. A little bit depends on how much inventory comes up and really what happens with the economy going forward. So keep that in mind overall in terms of that. And that's just something that also I watched this number too. It's very, very important. Showings per listing, which is buyer traffic. We talked about this last week on the show, kind of last month. The newest number just came out a couple of days ago. But here's the deal. Buyer traffic down 19.5% last month. And so almost like a cliff, right? Hits that really kind of level where a lot of buyers pumped the brakes. They got scared of seeing that. And it's just something to watch, especially coming into the busiest times of the year, which is that spring and summer market. And so if you're thinking about selling, reach out, call me. Let's talk about strategy. We can definitely help you navigate that. The good news is we're seeing a lot of pockets, still high demand. I mentioned I had one property, 13+ offers on it this past week. And so if you want to know more how that works, 843-808-SOLD at BlakeSloan.com. Really quick into condos. Condo sales, guess what? Seeing the same exact thing. Condo sales down 35.1% last month, almost like off a cliff. So, for example, there's only 550 last month. In March, there was 803 condo sales. Then in April, 685, down to 550 this last month. And so definitely seeing, 2+ months of decline there. Eventually you're going to see it soften in terms of price. But really the good news is average price is still up. So 40.5% from last year. So a huge jump, a new record there for the average sale price for condos, up to $276,624, which is awesome. If you go back just to really May of last year, it was $196. So good increase there for any condo owners. We're seeing a lot of condos still move, especially into the ocean. Overall median price, a new record there as well. Median price up 48.1% last year in the last May versus this May, which is great. $239,950. So awesome news there. Inventory is still lower than it was last year, down 7.7%, but we are seeing it creep up. Right now, 1.2 months inventory. If you go back to January, is at 0.7 months, and so you are seeing a big increase in inventory in both homes, also condos. So if you're a homeowner, you definitely want to think about, just watching that if you're looking to move up or move down. If you're a first-time home buyer, it's a great opportunity for you. If you don't have a house at the moment, you are seeing inventory increase, which is a great opportunity. Even though rates have gone up, it's still a great opportunity to get in that. One thing driving that, obviously, has been interest rates. We had really 3 great weeks in a row where they're really good after, kind of the bloodbath earlier this year. But right now for a 30-year fix is 5.36%, which is really right in line where it was last week. Last week it was 5.35. This week it went down, back down a little bit. A 15-year fixed rate, 4.78%. A 30-year FHA loan, 4.78%. A 30-year jumbo loan, 4.69%. And a 5-year adjust rate mortgage right now, 4.48%. And so that's still really, not too bad if you think about owning. On the one thing we'll keep watching as it does, if it does continue to climb back up, less buyers will, 1, be able to afford your house, and 2, they're going to sit on the sidelines. And so if you're thinking about selling, Myrtle Beach is a very, very, very seasonal market. School's getting out, that summer grind, the summer things are happening. Definitely take advantage of the weather and really kind of just dig in and look at your strategy. More than happy to help you in any way. One thing we don't do is any pressure. So we really kind of guide our clients based on really what their scenario is, what they're looking to do, what their goals are. And the most important thing we add into that is the data. We look at the data of your neighborhood, what's happening, the trends, and really help you kind of forecast what the best thing is to do. So if you want to know more about that in your area, in your neighborhood, reach out to me right now, 843-808-SOLD or BlakeSloan.com. Right back after a quick break.
RNN listeners, Clay Travis here. As investors in real estate, Buck and I both know exactly what to look for to find the agent with the best tools and marketing to get the highest sales price possible for a home.
Totally true, Clay. And here in Myrtle Beach, that agent is our friend Blake Sloan of Sloan Realty Group. If you need to sell a home and buy a new one, ask Blake about his guarantee.
Get this, Blake guarantees to sell your home at a price and deadline you agree to, or he'll buy it himself. And since you know when your current home will sell by and for how much, you can buy your next home without worrying about getting stuck with 2 mortgages.
There's simply no other agent in the market who has a guarantee that will line up against what Blake Sloan can offer you. So when you're looking to sell and buy, he is your guy. Read nearly 750 5-star reviews by Googling Sloan Realty Group. Give Blake a call today and start packing. That's Sloan Realty Group.
And tune in to Blake's show Saturdays at 9 a.m. and Sundays at 11:30 a.m.
Welcome back to Blake Sloan Real Estate Show. Hot buyers alert. My team and I are working with a ridiculous amount of home buyers who are looking for homes in the Myrtle Beach, Grand Strand area from $250,000 up to $4.3 million. If you're thinking about selling, please contact us immediately, 843-808-SOLD. That's 843-808-SOLD. And one thing we do that really kind of most proud of, just been doing this for over 10 years, is our hot buyers alert. And we obviously spend lots and lots and lots of money on advertising. You see it everywhere. But one thing a lot of people don't see is the massive amounts of money we spend online. Where do most people go to search? They go on their phones, their tablets, their computers. And so we spend tens and tens of thousands of dollars advertising online. And what happens is we get buyers from all over the globe. And so we outspend the average agent here 100 to 1 from a marketing standpoint. And that's what really helps our sellers sell a property faster and for more money, because we have this thing called buyers in waiting. And so we have buyers that are ready to buy, active buyers, and as of right now, our current count of home buyers, 68,117 active home buyers. Again, that's 68,117 active home buyers. They're looking on our site right now from all over. Right now, I have Kathleen from Myrtle Beach on the site. I have Pat Costello from Oceanside, New York. She's been on the property, looked at 208 properties so far. She got 7 current favorites that she has. I have Michelle from Carlsbad, California. I got Scott from Belmore, New York. I got Kathy and Paul from Vincetown, New Jersey. I got Randall from Woodstock, Virginia. And let's see what else we got. I got Ottawa, Canada, Mineola, New York, Colorado Springs, Colorado, all over the country and even international. And the one thing that you really want to know is that we're able to take these buyers that we have an algorithm that we help develop, and it takes any new listing, a.k.a. your property, and reverse engineers the most likely buyer out of that 68,000 buyers, and it scores them highest to lowest. And so what we're able to do is we took our sales team, who are 20-plus buyer experts, and we take them, and they're able to really reverse engineer who the most likely buyer is, reach out to those buyers via phone call, text message, and email, and say, hey, we have a brand new listing. It matches exactly what you're looking for. Do you want to take a look at it? Well, of course they do, because inventory is very, very low. And guess what? They know who we are. Like Pat, for example, is at 200 properties on our site. And so that's how we're able to match up buyer and seller. Meanwhile, most agents are still trying to figure out how to use Microsoft Outlook, right? It's a big difference in terms of how the results come out, because we're aggressive in how we do it. We have a system and a process, and more importantly, the technology to help get you maximum leverage and really get you maximum dollar for your property. So if you know more how that works, or if you know anybody that's thinking about selling, if you walk by them and they smell like real estate and they think they might sell something, get me the information and have them reach out, call us, right? 843-808-SOLD. If you like them, don't like them, whatever it is, because we still have massive amounts of buyers. And this is really one of the big advantages that we have, is really going to help, because as the market declines, there's 20% less buyers looking. Guess what? We already have 68,000 who are still looking right now, and we're doubled down on our advertising. While most agents are pulling back, we're doubling down, because we have the team, we have the systems, the processes, and really just being real. I've been waiting for this moment, because we've been planning and really creating systems and processes to help double down. While most agents who weren't that good were just kind of riding the high, we've been prepping and building the systems to help give our clients huge, huge advantages. And so reach out to me if you want to know more about how that works, 843-808-SOLD. Also, really quick, some awesome success stories. Our team's been absolutely crushing it. Big shout out to Wayne. Wayne owned a home in Myrtle's Inlet, had been using the property as a rental property the past few years. Recently, the tenants moved out without any notice, left the home in a terrible mess. Wayne decided after this experience and headache, he no longer wanted to deal with being a landlord from a distance. Thankfully, Wayne used our company, Sloan Realty Group, to both buy and sell in the past. You knew exactly who to call. We came in, designed a custom plan, launched our global marketing blitz, professional photos, the virtuality walkthrough. Within just a couple of days, drove massive traffic, multiple offers. He accepted an offer $20,000 more than his asking price, way more than he thought possible for his rental property. Now Wayne can put off the stress and put maximum dollar in his pocket, which is awesome. Also, another one, Bobby owned a vacation home in Myrtle Beach that's walking distance to the beach. His family owned that property for many years and created a lot of great memories. They recently made the decision to sell the property and cash out at the top of the market. His main concerns, though, Number one, he wanted the most amount of money. Number two, he wanted to sell it as is because it needed a few repairs. We came in and said, hey, look, don't worry about that. We can sell it as is in its current condition. Design a custom plan for that. Launched our global marketing blitz, virtuality walkthrough, professional photos. Within a few days of massive traffic, had an as-is offer, almost full asking price, and now he can walk away knowing they put maximum dollar in their pocket. And so if you want to know how that works and be our next success story, definitely reach out to me. We had one awesome listener. Big shout out to Brian and Loris. He's a longtime listener of the show. He called me this week, and he has a very, very high-end luxury property, 16-plus acres out in Loris. And he actually heard in our previous show, we have the largest single-family sale in Loris of all time, which is really awesome. And we can definitely do the same thing for him. That property, I may have heard in a previous show, was very, very high-end, 8,000 square feet, 40 acres, and sold that to actually someone who's a big famous name from California in Los Angeles and bought that property here. So if you want to know more about that, and if you want that true exposure, reach out to myself, my team, 843-808-SOLD. How much time we got left? 30 seconds, a minute? All right. Anyways, if you want to know more how it works, reach out, call me. We got lots of buyers looking to buy your house right now. 843-808-SOLD at BlakeSloan.com.
Hey, Myrtle Beach, it's Gary LaVox, lead singer of Rascal Flatts.
I'm moving on.
When I'm Moving On won the award for ACM Song of the Year, it struck a chord with folks who understand the challenges that come with life's big changes. For many, that happens when it comes time to sell their home. If you're moving on, you want a real estate agent who will make selling your home easy and stress-free. An agent who's willing to let you out of the contract if you're not happy with their service. That's why in Myrtle Beach, I can tell you that Blake Sloan of Sloan Realty Group markets your home on a whole different level. Now listen, Blake is so confident in his ability to sell your home quickly and for more money that he guarantees to sell it or he'll buy it himself. If you're moving on, trust Blake to provide your family a stress-free home sale experience. Find Blake Sloan online at blakesloan.com, or you can call him at 843-808-SOLD and start packing.